僕の名前はアストルフォ。
Boost packs in Starfield give the player more movement options in and out of combat. They make navigating areas easier and more fun, essentially making you immune to fall damage. But what if you wanted to play without that ability? I did just that. Can you beat Starfield without using the boost pack? Before even making your character, you have to go through the slow mining tutorial, which is mostly just following your boss walk around. We really need a mod to skip this. Bethesda, why did you learn nothing from New Vegas? As soon as I can, I run to the magical space artifact that knocks us out, leading to the character creation. For my background, I chose Industrialist. Persuasion is always good for speech checks, lockpicking for extra items and credits, and research methods because the first time I played, I didn't mod my weapons that much. The first trait I chose was Terra Firma, because most of the game you're going to be on land. The second was United Colonies Native, because I thought it gave you money at the start, but I think I was wrong. The last trait is Wanted, because having bounty hunters come after me might be fun. When I finally got into the game, I dropped my boost pack on the floor and went outside. But I was dying, and it said I needed a boost pack to live. That's weird. I thought you just needed a suit and helmet. It's fine, I'll allow myself to wear the boost pack, so I don't die, but never get boost pack training to be able to use it. Walking outside safely this time, we had to sit and listen to these people's 50-hour conversation. Thank God it was interrupted by a pirate attack. Everyone but me was basically useless. It felt like I was killing all the pirates myself. I finished them off with a smack to the head and was given this guy Barrett's ship. We also got this robot Vasco. After doing the ship battle tutorial, we have to go clear out the pirate's base. I was already noticing not having the ability to boost pack. These guys were up on the second floor, and I couldn't jump up to them without going the long way and putting myself in a disadvantageous position. I tried to pick up this toast, but I picked up the knife instead and it made it jump. I convinced the captain to leave us alone and jump to Jemison. There are a ton of quests for us to do here, so I'm going to do a couple easy ones and also some that I didn't do in my first playthrough. I bought a suppressed Kraken, which is a really terrible weapon, but I'm going to use it anyway because I like machine pistols. I also saw Todd Howard standing on a table. I decided to go to Constellation because I wanted to use the weapon workbench. What sucks is this makes you lose Vasco as a companion, and I don't want to pick up the British lady yet. So I left to do some cargo delivery missions. One brought me to Porma 2, which has a strange ship in orbit. This is the quest that I made that short video complaining about. It's really bad. I started the quest, but abandoned it when I found out I had to collect a bunch of stuff. Instead, I began the Galbank debt collecting quest. The first debtor is on a barren frozen planet that having a boost pack would definitely make more convenient to navigate. I convinced him to pay up and also looted his home. The next debtor is a spacer in the Porma system. On the way there, we got attacked by bounty hunters because of the wanted trait. After dealing with them, I killed the spacer and traveled to Boda, where the third debtor is. She's a CEO that's hiding out with some pirates. There are so many enemies here, and they're way higher level than me. My Kraken does pitiful damage. I go through hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and end up having to kill them with a knife. There were 2 more pirates in a high up place that I couldn't get to because I didn't have a boost pack. So I just went over to talk to the lady and she wouldn't go into dialogue. She just said, "Do your worst." So I killed her and instantly got a bounty placed on my head. What? I killed the target. It gave me a bounty, so I guess I wasn't supposed to do that? Oh well. I got a signal for another quest where I have to help this guy fix satellites. He's part of a settler alliance of families. The satellites are surrounded by spacers, so I do a lot of ship fighting. After fighting all of them, we have to band all the families together and assault the spacer base. These space fights are a lot more fun when you have allies. After we take out all the ships, we board the station and they help me in the first room, but they refuse to follow me into the second room and help with the captain. Thanks. After finishing them off, I went to a workbench and upgraded my Kraken's pitiful 25 magazine to 40. Then I went to Bank to get the final debt collecting quest. It's a merc who refused to pay, so we had to fight. After defeating him, I went back and finished the quest line. The next quest I decide to tackle is exploring a secret spacer outpost. There are a bunch of enemies and super strong robots. I ran out of healing items, so I left. I'll come back when I'm stronger. Then I hopped over to Neon. I'm gonna start the Ryujin quest. I picked up a Novolite and a drumbeat from the Trade Authority. At the Ryujin Tower, I'm given my first task of bringing a lady her coffee. How exciting! A guy tries to attack me because Ryujin fired him, and he says they put hits out on former employees. I easily killed him and got a bounty. He attacked me! Is self-defense not allowed in this shithole? This game, man. I reloaded and convinced him to back down. When I get back, my boss was impressed with my work and decides to appoint me as an operative of the company. This means I'll be doing corporate espionage sort of stuff. Next task she has for me is to hack into a company's computer and put a bug in it. This goes smoothly because none of the employees care that I waltz right into the office and tamper with their things. She now wants us to plant documents on a lady in Aquila City, but before leaving, I start the quest to join the Strikers. They're a gang that's at war with another gang, the Disciples. I acquire a slate for them, and they let me in as a full-fledged member. After doing a bunch of gang violence with my Space Mac, the city security shows up and forces the gang to join them. What a terrible security force that they need to recruit from gangsters. Now that that quest is finished, I head for Aquila. I go into the back room, and no one cares. I plant the evidence, and before boarding my ship, I convince some bank robbers to surrender. Our next region task is to obtain a keycard from a Gagarin guard. He wouldn't talk to me, and apparently he won't unless you wear a UC guard uniform. I went to New Atlantis to snag one, and came back and got the key from him. Then we have to convince some people not to do a business deal. And then we have to put a virus on a spaceship. So many errands. I can see why people say Ryujin is the worst faction quest. If you haven't done the Freestar Rangers quest, you should. It's the best in the game. Anyway, we steal data on a prototype something, and go meet with the CEO. She wants us to get information on their competitor's new project, so we have to steal even more data. Turns out their new project is actually something Ryujin is developing, which means there's a mole in the company. We talk to Dalton about it, and naturally it's our job to root this spy out. And we do that by infiltrating the Ryujin Tower when only security guards are there, and planting a bug on this lady's computer. And for some reason the guards will be hostile because it's an extra super secret op or something. I don't know, it's dumb. We're not supposed to kill any of them, so he gives us a Nova Blast Disruptor, which is a less lethal weapon. This weapon is really weak. It takes 3 to 5 shots to knock someone out, and it only has a 5-round magazine. I run past a bunch of security and plant the bug, but I get so lost in the maze of a building. I have to jump around across stuff and climb in vents, and it's a lot harder with no boost pack. Eventually, one of the guards entered dialogue during combat and said they were arresting me, and I couldn't resist. The only option was to submit. They put me in the company jail that exists for some reason, but thankfully, they left me with all my weapons and lockpicks. Very smart. I'm sick of this, so I broke out and killed the guards I found until I finally found my way out. Sorry, but the mission shouldn't have been this stupid. Luckily, there's no punishment or anything. With the new info, we find out that the mole is the lady who gave us the job originally, Imogene. Who could have guessed? She fled to a mafia hideout, and we get permission to go there. I talked to her, and she says she was actually forced to do it by another employee, Ularu, and gave us a slate with evidence. I took it back to Dalton, and met with the head of security. Awkward after killing so many of her men. She wants us to go check on a shipment that never arrived. It's on a faraway planet, so I decide to go back to the secret spacer outpost. For some reason, there's a naked man following me around when I get there. All the spacers respawned, and he became hostile at some point during the battle. Goodbye, naked man. I take down the robots, and the reward is pretty good. I got some new weapons, legendary armor, and a new spaceship. Cool. It's called the Razor Leaf. At some point, that was my favorite Pokemon move. I then head to the mining facility, and everyone's been killed by Ecliptic mercs. Floor toast. Ecliptic were hired to redirect the shipment to the clinic by the competitor, where they were doing human experimentation. So we go back to Ryujin, and they implant the device into our head that lets us do minor mind control. Like, we can make people open doors. Then, we get a mission to infiltrate the competitor and download more stuff from the computers. I hope this is the last quest for this sucky faction. What I ended up doing is just running past all the guards, planting the viruses, and stealing the prototype. Once I got up to the top floor, they stopped chasing. I walked across the street and gave their evidence of wrongdoing to a newscaster, and flew back to Ryujin. The last thing I do for the quest is convince the board to bury the neuroamp tech because it's too dangerous. Finally, it's over.
among us.
Before leaving Neon, I sell a stolen gun for a lady. Now I'm going to actually do the main quest. We need to find a UC guy who is in possession of an artifact. It's kind of a wild goose chase to find him, but his ship was hijacked by mercs while orbiting Neptune. As thanks, he gave us the artifact and we returned to the lodge. There's a satellite orbiting Jimison with a black Russian man named Vladimir that will tell us more about where the artifacts are. But first, we have to find Barrett. We need to go back to the moon we started the game on to get clues. Apparently he was kidnapped by pirates, and we have to walk through a barren wasteland to find their crash site. Huh, look at that, Barrett isn't here for some reason. I don't remember why. But he's being held hostage by pirates. I die fighting them, and the game didn't autosave, so I had to walk through the barren planet again. Then I flew to the wrong place and got attacked by spacers. Great. I rescued Barrett, and now we have to travel to the planet Pizza 1. Maybe we'll find Pizza the Hut there. Actually, we won't. There's another member of Constellation there, and Dredja, and also an artifact. Then we go to a planet with weird-looking creatures to get another artifact. The next artifact after that is on Aquila, and we have to travel with Sam Coe to get it. The map to its location is in the possession of his dad. I was gonna steal it from him, but I had no digipicks, so I just persuaded him to give it to us. We ran all the way to a cave that was inhabited by members of the Shaw gang. At some point, I friendly fired on Sam because he wears cowboy clothes like some of them do. Now that we've got those artifacts, we take them back to Constellation and wait around forever while they talk. We go back to Vladimir and he says the artifacts are giving him the location of an anomaly on some planet. Artifacts? Anomalies? What is this, Stalker? Once on the planet, we have to follow the distortion on the scanner. It leads us to a giant temple, which grants us a stupid magical power. Now Walter Stroud wants us to help him acquire an artifact from a seller in Neon. Man, there sure is a ton of waiting around while other people talk to each other in this game. We get the artifact from the seller, and a goon confronts us. Apparently the artifact was stolen from some rich guy. We're not giving it back, so I kill the goon. He had our ship impounded, so we went to confront him at his company offices. The game wanted me to be stealthy, but after doing the Ryujin stuff, I don't want to do any more sneaking. So I murder a bunch of people in the building. It's funny because I don't get a bounty for the murder, but I do when I shoot the cleaning robot. Glad to see Neon has its priorities in order. We kill the rich guy and that somehow unimpounds our ship. In the planet's orbit, we're attacked by a futuristic ship that wants the artifact. It's piloted by someone called a Starborn. We beat it up and it jumps away. Before going back to the lodge, I get 2 more powers. Getting these is even more tedious without the boost pack. Now we've got to do more artifact hunting. Some are in pirate bases where I get thrown into the sky. Then we go get more powers. I saw this funny little guy on this one planet. I also got jumped and killed by a Starborn and had to do the puzzle thing again. Back at the Eye, we're told a collector has the next artifact and he won't give it up willingly. I hate this part of the main quest. It forces you to become a criminal. You have to steal the artifact from him and his guards attack you. The game wants you to become a murderer. The first time I played, I grabbed it and ran out, but this time I don't care. I murdered his bullet sponge guards and forced him to give me the artifact. At the lodge, we learn that the Eye is under attack. We stay to protect the artifacts. A Starborn called the Hunter is trying to take them, and he's invincible. We flee to the Eye and find Sarah dead. He talked about this thing called the Unity, so we went to talk to religious people about it. My game was lagging because my laptop became unplugged somehow without me noticing. After hunting for clues and solving a puzzle, we go to the Starborn ship and talk to him. He's with another Starborn who turns out to be Sarah from an alternate universe. Okay. The next artifact is at NASA, and after taking it, we're attacked by a bunch of Starborn. I get super lost trying to get out, and then get another power and artifact. There's one more artifact left, and to get it, we have to go through a quest that is actually pretty cool. I won't spoil it. Now it's time to confront the Hunter. We have a space battle, and the fake Sarah helps us because I chose to side with her. In my first playthrough, I decided to fight both of them, so that space fight was really hard. This time, it's pretty easy. After the battle, he retreated to the temple that is connected to the Unity. We land on the planet, and it's guarded by multiple Starborn encounters. These fights are tough because they can teleport around and jump around everywhere, and we can't even use the boost pack. For the first encounter, I pumped up on Kim's, including one that boosted movement speed by 2. This was super helpful because it allowed me to outrun the Starborn with melee weapons. After defeating them, the second wave was some kind of necromancer that raised dead Ecliptic troops to fight alongside them. It focused on the Starborn, and once they were dead, the Ecliptic guys were no more. We came across a distortion that was like the beginning of the game when we found the first artifact, and I ran through it because I don't care. The third Starborn fight has a bunch of robots and turrets. I tried to stay out of the way of the turrets and focus on the Starborn. This worked, and my companions took out a bunch of the robots. Go into another distortion, that is the ship we stole the artifact from. It does the "you should feel bad" thing that games do that I hate. I wouldn't have stolen it from him if the game gave me another option. I don't understand why modern developers want to shame you for playing their games. The fourth Starborn encounter, the enemy summons a bunch of duplicates to fight us. Like the Necromancer, I focus him down and the others disappear after killing him. The last Starborn to deal with is the Hunter. I convince him to stand down with the power I got from the Ryujin quest and take the last artifact. I take it back to the ship, grav jump into the Unity, and beat Starfield without using the boost pack. Thank you for watching. Comment down below if you want to see more Starfield challenges.